Today I'm going to be talking about poliomyelitis. So, polio is a small RNA virus of the enterovirus genus from the Picornaviridae family, and it usually targets the anterior horn cells and certain brainstem motor nuclei. The poliovirus consists of three strains and infects the body via the fecal-oral route or via respiratory droplets. After infection, it multiplies in the GI mucosa and is secreted in the stool. Once it reaches the anterior horn cells via blood, lymphatics, or via the lumbar and cervical segments, it infects the anterior horn cells. As a result, the anterior horn cells may remain unaffected, they may recover, or they may undergo death. The mechanism of damage is either by direct damage to the cells because of the virus, due to secondary ischemia, edema, or hemorrhage caused due to the inflammation. The stages of poliomyelitis include an incubation period which lasts from the 6 to 20 days, in which the virus is present in the body without causing symptoms, the pre-paralysis stage, in which there is some malaise, fever, and other acute onset of symptoms, the stage of maximum paralysis, the stage of recovery, and the stage of post-polio residual paralysis. The acute stage lasts for 7 to 10 days, and a wide range of symptoms are seen, ranging from malaise to encephalomyelitis. There may be widespread paralysis causing diaphragmatic paralysis and respiratory distress, and in case the medulla is affected, it may lead to bulbar polio, which can also be life threatening. On examination, there is fever, flushing of the skin, there might be apprehension, muscular pain. The superficial reflexes are lost first. The deep tendon reflexes disappear when the muscle group is paralyzed completely. The treatment during this stage is bed rest, analgesia, hot packs, anatomical positioning of the limb to prevent contractures, and gentle passive range of motion exercises. The most commonly affected muscle is the quadriceps. The muscle which undergoes complete paralysis most commonly is the tibialis anterior, and the hand muscle which is most commonly affected is the opponens pollicis. In the convalescent stage, there is recovery. It lasts from 2 days after the fever decreases and can last for up to 2 years. There is varying degrees of spontaneous recovery in the muscle power, and most of the muscles return to full strength, and we should assess power frequently. The treatment in this stage include vigorous passive stretching exercises, muscle and gait training, wedging casts and orthosis to prevent and correct deformities. The chronic stage usually begins 24 months after the acute illness. The aim of management during this time is to achieve the maximum functional activity by management of long-term consequences of muscle imbalances. The goal is to correct any significant muscle imbalance and preventing or correcting soft tissues or bony deformities. Static joint instability usually can be controlled indefinitely by an orthosis, and dynamic joint instability eventually results in a fixed deformity that cannot be controlled with an orthosis. The causes of deformity in polio arise from muscle imbalance, the effect of posture and gravity, following the dynamics of activity, and the dynamics of growth in children. The deformities in joints which are commonly seen are of flexion, abduction, and external rotation at the hip, as you can see here. In the knee, very commonly flexion deformities are seen. A genu recurvatum deformity in which the knee is backward is also seen. There may be associated tibial external rotation and also valgus deformities around the knee and leg. In the foot and ankle, an equinovalgus or a calcaneovalgus may also be noted. Surgery is typically indicated for deformity correction when conservative management fails, when there is power loss or substitution or compensation in case paralysis is localized, and also for length restoration. Surgical options include a tenotomy and soft tissue release, in which the tight structures are either released or lengthened, For example, a tendo Achilles lengthening can be done for an equinus of the foot. Here you can see that the foot is in equinus, and by splitting the tendo Achilles and then further lengthening it, we gain this much of length, which will improve the equinus deformity. We can also perform adductor tenotomy for the hip, an Ober or Yount's release for the flexion deformity at the hip. The second type of surgeries are tendon transfers. Tendon transfers are usually done from a strong muscle group to a weak muscle group to supplement the weak muscle's action. By transferring the extensor hallucis longus to the neck of the first metatarsal, we can supplement the action of the tibialis anterior. Similarly, by transferring the peronei to the dorsum of the foot, we can improve dorsiflexion in such patients. We can also perform an osteotomy, which is a surgically induced fracture, to prevent or correct any deformities. For example, for a flexion deformity at the knee, we can perform an extension osteotomy, and in case of genu valgum, we can do a supracondylar osteotomy. We can also perform an arthrodesis, which is a surgically induced fusion of the joint. For ankle deformities and foot deformities, we can perform a triple arthrodesis in which the talocalcaneal, the talonavicular, and the calcaneocuboid, three joints, are fused. We can also use arthrodesis for stabilization of other flail joints, such as in the knee, where we can do a knee arthrodesis, or in case of hip, we can do a hip arthrodesis. To prevent and correct limb length discrepancies, we can use Ilizarov fixators, which are a type of external fixators, and limb reconstruction system, which is called the LRS. Other walking aids which are used by patients with polio commonly are ankle foot orthosis, which prevent foot deformities and also allow the patient to walk in a efficient manner, as well as calipers, which are the knee ankle foot orthosis KAFO, which are commonly associated with the disease. These aids are very useful for enabling patients to function. Before I end, I would like to say that the Pulse Polio program was started by the Government of India in 1985, and finally in March 2014 the World Health Organization declared India a polio free country. Thank you so much for listening to me. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel if you like these videos. Thank you.